Hey, what's up, guys? This is Martin here from Rip Kodiak. Your favorite chat is here, coming to you live like always. And on this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the differences between living in Norway and living in Poland. Because I've been in Poland for about a year and a half now. I'm half Polish, half Norwegian. And I think this is going to be a good video for you guys who are kind of on the lookout as to whether you want to live in Norway or Poland. And we're going to talk about all kinds of different things. We're going to talk about the people, the culture, the language, right? The politics, the cost of living, and everything in between. So, guys, really make sure to pay attention to this if you really want to move here. So, the very first thing we're going to talk about here is the people. Okay? In my opinion, Polish people are definitely a lot more straightforward. They don't like to mess around. They don't like to chit-chat and don't do anything. They want to get straight to the point, and they're very honest and direct people. Norwegians, on the other hand, are very laid back. They're not really as tense and as aggressive as Polish people, for sure. But at the same time, and this is just like from my experience, guys. You know, if you're a Norwegian who's watching this, don't get offended or anything. But in my opinion, Norwegians can be a little bit fake nice sometimes. You know, like you can go out and you can talk to your neighbor, and he can be really smiley. He can talk to you and all that on all these things. But at the same time, he might hold some kind of grudge or he might have some negative feelings towards you, but he's never going to show it. But Polish people, they're like the complete opposite of that. If they don't like you, they just don't like you. Okay? Very fast. Very fast. And also Polish people are a lot more angry for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they drink a lot of alcohol. Or they just kind of they just like to engage in combat for some reason. They like to fight people. Not all of them, but they like conflicts for some reason. I don't know why. You know, it's like they just love engaging in like these little fights and brawls and little beefs. They just like it here. I don't know why. Maybe it's in our DNA as Polish men. And I've seen it with a lot of Polish people, bro. So don't get offended if you're Polish and who's watching this. This is just how Polish people are. You know, you can go anywhere on the planet. And there's a really high chance that, if some Polish people get attacked, or if some Polish, friends get attacked by foreigners, they're just going to go straight away. They're going to attack. No, they're not going to hold back. They just like to engage in these kind of things. But Norwegians, no. Norwegians, in my opinion, are a lot more... They don't like conflict at all. They want to avoid that kind of thing as much as they can. Some people might say that they're weak. I mean, I don't think it's weak. I think it depends on the context of, how you're presenting these kind of things. When you're going to attack them, they're just going to back off, That's just who they are, I've never really seen like a brawl in like a, Norwegian pub or something. They just don't do these kind of things. So, when it comes to women, I definitely think that Polish women as a whole are hotter. Especially when they're really young, from 20 to 30. It's a close call, but in my opinion, Polish chicks have to take that one. And even, especially when they get older, like 30 and up, 30, 40, 50, bro, Polish chicks can look really hot. They can be 40 and have 3 kids. And still have some nice titties. And look gorgeous. And Norwegians, on the other hand, I wouldn't just say Norwegians, but Scandinavian women, when they get older, they just lose that beauty. They can't really keep it up for a prolonged period of time. It's very evident. They lose their beauty very fast, and they age faster, I think, than Polish women. So I don't know why that is, though. But yeah, I have to say that Polish women take that one from me. And I don't know why, but there's like a lot of these, there's like a lot of opinions on this. A lot of people say that Scandinavian women are the hottest, especially Swedish chicks. Now, I don't know I've never been to Sweden before. I don't know what it's like. Maybe that's the case. Polish women are also a lot more traditional. They want to start families. They're very cool with you being the man, especially if you're a guy. They're very cool with you being the leader of the household and, that you're providing for them. Then they have nothing against being, in the kitchen and taking care of the kids. And Norwegian women, I found, are a little bit more feminist-minded, but in a good way. It's not like they're anything close to American women or Canadian women. Far from it. I think Scandinavian women they have a healthy level of feminism, which is different. In Norway we have something that is called janteloven, which basically implies that women should have the same rights as men. Women should have equal rights. And I'm all in for that, man. I believe in that as well. Especially when it comes to jobs and getting a similar salary, especially if they work the same job or if they're in the same field. Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to religion and culture, in my opinion, Polish people are a lot more religious compared to Norwegians. In Poland we have a lot of churches, we have a lot of ceremonies, we have a lot of, not just Catholics, but we do have a lot of gatherings, and a lot of people have strong beliefs here. They believe in God. They believe in higher powers. In comparison to Norway, I don't think Norwegians are quite as religious. There's a lot of people in Norway who don't believe in God at all. They're not spiritual at all, one bit. They are Christian, some of them, but nothing in comparison to Polish people. Not even close. As far as being social is concerned, Polish people are definitely a lot more outgoing. They love going out, they love meeting up, and just, having these gatherings. They love it. They love it. You can go out on a pub, you can go to a restaurant, you can go to your normal gym, and you can, find like-minded people very fast. They love to talk. They love, they're very loud, in a good way, okay? They can just, invite you in very fast. You don't have to wait too long. But the Norwegians, on the other hand, in my opinion, this is going to sound a little bit negative for Norwegians, but Norwegians are very closed off. They don't really like to invite new people into their circle. They're very hermetic people. They have these small circles of people like from their family members, right? Or people that they know from high school, middle school, and that's it. You don't really get invited in that club unless there's a really strong reason for it. And I've heard it from a lot of people. It is pretty difficult to make friends in Norway when you're a foreigner. Very hard. I've heard it from a lot of people. In Poland, it's relatively easy. If you're social, if you know a little bit of the Polish language, you're gonna go far, for sure. Now, when it comes to the language, Polish is a lot harder than Norwegian. Polish is arguably one of the hardest, if not the most difficult language there is, especially when it comes to speaking. Polish is so hard, even for me, bro. Like, I'm half Polish, half Norwegian, even though I've lived most of my life in Norway, like 20 years. I still have problems with pronouncing certain words in Polish, really. Because when I speak Polish, I do have a little bit of a Scandinavian accent. Same thing when I'm speaking English. Even though I sound a little bit American, it's a little bit of a blend, right? But Norwegian is not difficult at all. If you speak English or German or if you're or Dutch, Norwegian is going to be pretty easy for you. Now, I don't think Norwegian is easy to master, but getting your Norwegian skills to a good level is not going to be that difficult. Or getting it to that level where you can really communicate with people fairly easily, it's not going to be a big problem for you. So, when it comes to weather, right now it's actually raining quite a lot in Poland. It's like snowy, it's rainy. This just reminds me of the Norwegian weather. A lot. In Norway, it rains a lot, especially on the west coast, from Bergen, Stavanger. Especially from fall all the way through winter. Bro, the weather there is terrible. It's raining, it's very windy, it's cold, it's nasty out there. In Poland, definitely during winter and fall, it's a lot more chill. It's not as cold, it's not as crazy. You can definitely live here, and sometimes you can have a lot of chilly days here, even during fall and winter. Definitely, it's not that big of a deal. The spring and summer can be really hot here. Across all Poland. It's far hotter and warmer than it is in Norway. I mean, obviously, Norway is placed a lot more north in comparison to Poland. Poland is a lot more south, so it makes a lot of sense. But the weather in Poland is a lot better. You know, it's not as windy, it's not as cloudy, it doesn't rain quite a lot, and it's just better, especially from spring through summer. Bro, the weather here is amazing. Although I have to say this about Poland. Poland has terrible air quality, you know, and this comes from someone who used to live in Norway. Norway has such amazing air quality. The air is so fresh, it's so clean. Bro, it doesn't even come close. Like, even the tap water, bro. The tap water in Norway is so purified, it's so good. You could literally sell it in bottles. You know, you could pack it up and sell it worldwide. It's that good. And the tap water here it's kind of like meh. It's very mid, it's very average. But you can still drink it, you know. Especially if you filter it, right? As far as the cost of living is concerned, Poland is definitely a lot cheaper than Norway. Norway is arguably one of the most expensive countries in Europe. You know, it's usually at the top. You know, whenever you have like these statistics, it's at the very top. It's in the upper echelon. But at the same time, in Norway you can earn a lot more money if you're skilled, if you're qualified, and if you're if you have something that's in demand, you know how to perform something, you can make a lot more money in Norway, I think. In a normal job. We're not talking about having a business here. I think having a business in Poland is better because just, you know, it's cheaper. You can, you know, you have a lot of skilled and qualified people here. The labor here is pretty cheap. You know, you can hire people and don't really pay them that much. I know it sounds awful on paper. I know it sounds awful when I say it. But it's because Poland has a lower cost of living, so it, you know, it gets adjusted with time. But Poland is definitely on the rise, especially in comparison to like how it used to look like 15, 20 years ago. Poland has surpassed a lot of Eastern European countries, you know, especially Warsaw and these bigger cities in Poland, bro, they're amazing. Now, one of the things that I disliked with Norway when I used to live there is that everything is so bureaucratic. Everything is so controlled, everything is so regimented, and you can't really, it almost feels like you're being surveilled 24/7, literally. They're always watching you there. On public roads in Norway, you have to pay this this little fine. We call them bompenger. It's basically like you have these toll booths, and they scan your license plate each time you cross. And at the end of each month, they send you this little fine, this little ticket that you have to pay. And this basically just like so you can have the best roads possible in Norway. In Poland, you don't really have that. Most roads here are free. You know, unless we count the you know, the highways. Some of them are you have to pay for some of them, but still, we have a lot of freedom here in Poland, and I like it. Even the police, man. The police here are very chill. They're very cool. A lot of the times you're gonna get off. You know, you can get by with just a warning if you're nice. In Norway, it's like the complete opposite, bro. If the police stop you, and especially if you're foreign, there's a really, really high probability that they're gonna cite you and give you a ticket. Yeah, you know, they don't mess around there. Sometimes I feel like they abuse their power, but it is what it is. But at the same time, though, you can't really compare the two. Norway is a Scandinavian country. It has a very egalitarian society, meaning that men and women are basically equal. I would say women have even more authority and power over men. That's how it is in Norway. And in Poland, it's very traditional, you know. Men are men, women are women, and they just like it here. You know, they want to have families, and Poland is obviously a Slavic country. It's, you know, it lies in Eastern Europe, so it makes a lot of sense. But still, I mean, both are pretty good countries. It really depends on what you're looking for. At the same time, though, Poland is the #1 country in Europe that had the most immigrations, you know. Most Polish people actually live in the United States, Canada, Australia, Germany, the UK. I mean, they're all over the place, really, bro. If you're Polish, you know what I'm talking about. And Norwegians don't really do that. Like, Norwegians are very, they don't really like to move that much. They love being in their country. They don't really have that, I wouldn't say they're lazy, but they're not as driven as us Polish people, for sure. And I've seen this with a lot of Norwegians. You know, most Norwegians are very happy with a normal 9 to 5, with having, you know, their basic needs, basic needs met. They don't really need anything else. But Polish people, they always want more. They want more and more and more. We're kind of like Americans in a way. I mean, that's why Donald Trump loves Polish people so much, you know. Shout out to you, Donald. But that's just how it is. We just have a little bit of a different mentality, you know. Even if you travel across the world, you're rarely going to meet a Norwegian that lives outside of Norway. I know one Norwegian that lives in Prague. I used to work with him. He was my boss. He's half Norwegian, half Italian. And I also know this other guy. I think he lives in Warsaw. But that's it, you know. But when it comes to Polish people, there's a lot of Polish people that live in Norway, in the US. They're just all over the place, bro. They love to immigrate and settle down in different countries and strive for more, have a better life quality. They just love it. It's in our DNA. I think it comes from communism, though, because Poland used to be a shithole back in the 90s, 80s, but it has definitely changed. Poland has grown so much. It's crazy, you know. Norway, in my opinion, is a little bit more stagnant. It hasn't really, you know, their economy is kind of like flimsy now. It hasn't really progressed that much over the past, you know, decade or so. But that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I wish you guys a beautiful, strong day. Stay safe.